Do you know how much your design or how your design is going to affect your pricing, the location, privacy? All of these aspects are something that we really need to dig into. So, how do we start understanding how the design is going to create the space we want for our tenants, but
Yeah,
also our space?
yeah, great questions. We talked a little bit in one of the other segments about an avatar. You define
Mm,
who is going to be there, so you design for that avatar.
yeah.
But you also want to take into account I'm designing for what is going to be compatible with my lifestyle as I live on my property with a neighbor
Yeah.
that's going to live there. And so you want to think about the design from all kinds of aspects. And a lot of times people get really into what's the building going to look like? What's the floor plan going to be like?
Right.
Those are all really important things, but they don't think about how am I going to feel if the bedroom window in my back of my house is right in the front window of somebody who's living over there? It's not going to make you very happy.
Yeah.
So you want to take into account privacy.
Yeah.
How am I going to set that privacy up? So you think a lot about what are the sightlines? What do you see from the ADU when looking at my house? What do I see into the ADU when looking over there? How do
Yeah.
I place the windows and place things so that they're doing it? And if a window is going to go there, what I may do is put obscured glass so I get the light,
Right.
but I don't get the visibility.
I wouldn't have thought about
Yeah,
needing to plan
those
for those
those are
things.
important.
Yeah.
The second thing is you've now basically divided your property into a property that you live on and somebody else lives on, and you're going to be competing for outdoor living space.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, you don't want to compete. What you want to do is you want to establish guidelines that are visible to you
Mm,
and to your tenant of this is for you.
yeah.
This is your area. This is my area. When I'm out here, you walk by going to your place. Doesn't bother me. Does it bother you when somebody walks up the sidewalk?
No, because
No?
there's a sidewalk. They're not cutting through the yard.
Right. Because that's where it's at. Same
Okay.
thing with parking. This is where you park your car. It's in a place where it's not going to compete with me getting in and out of my property.
Yeah.
That's part of your design. And so you need to start to understand how am I going to work through that? And how am I going to create a way that I can create visual cues
Mm,
on my property that define those areas, walkways.
yeah.
Walkways. When you're coming home into your ADU, when you're on a walkway going into yours, it's okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me. And a boundary line for that walkway can be beautified by just simply putting some plants
Yes.
along the side. So that landscaping becomes an important part of the design.
Yeah.
Now, your ADU really does need an outdoor space. People don't like to live in just indoors. They want to
Right.
have a patio or they like a small barbecue area, somewhere where they can be outside that's their space.
Yeah.
So you do need to design around what are we creating for an outdoor space for who's going to live here
Yeah.
and it's not going to compete with me. And that's why we say design is an important part of understanding once you're going to put an ADU, how does this impact you? How does it impact them? And what's really cool about this is most people can't visualize it. So what we do at ADU Utah is we actually create models
Oh,
of your
yes.
property in a 3D CAD system so that you can walk through your property and see what that building is going to look like. You can get
Wow.
inside the building and look out the window and see what they're going to see. That way you actually are able to walk through the whole process before you ever build the building.
That feels like it diminishes the like, well, I don't know if it's gonna work. This like just the unknown risk of like, how will this actually look?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. So you won't be able to see it, but this up here, this picture up here is actually the ADU that I put up on my property. And I spent literally 6 months with my wife talking about all of those elements
Wow.
before we built it. And it's now been there for 3 years, and I hardly even know that I've got someone living in my backyard.
That's fantastic. That's the dream.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
dream
And
right there.
it's because we defined the design, we defined the avatar, we defined the places that are ours, the
Yeah.
places that are theirs. And so we don't have any competition.
Yeah. Well, I love the not competing for space, having the design fit and support our property
Yes.
is phenomenal. How do people get in contact with you to better understand starting this?
Yeah. Well, All they got to do is send an email to hello@aduutah.com with their question, and we'll follow up. So again, hello@aduutah.com.